Hi, I'm Kat, and this is my very first video. I have decided to undergo weight loss surgery, and after spending probably about a month seriously researching and watching a ton of videos from a lot of other incredibly brave souls and wonderful people who captured their journey, I decided that I wanted to capture mine. For two reasons. One, I want to help other people too, because I think that every experience is helpful, and I have really enjoyed looking at people who are similar to me and completely different from me and seeing what their experience is. And, um, everybody has something to teach, and also because I want to be accountable. I really want to make this change, and I want to lose the weight that has been, frankly, imprisoning me for the last, goodness gracious, it's almost going on 30 years. Um, when I was younger, I was incredibly active, and I used to dance, and I used to love doing that. And I just was an incredibly active person. I rode bikes, but even then, I was a size 10, 12, sometimes a 14. I was healthy and incredibly active, but I was dancing. And as a dancer, you know what, if you're 14, my goodness, you might as well be a 30. And, it was hard. And, I still danced, and I thought I danced fairly well, but it was not something that I could even consider doing professionally because, so, you're going to have to starve, you're going to have to get that weight off. And so I, I decided that I would go into a different career. And then when I went to college, um, all of the things that had been restricting me, or not restricting me, all of the things that had, kept my diet in check and kept my activity, I was really, really active. Like I would dance on a usual day. I would dance between 3 to 6 hours. I think I had Sunday off, but so 6 days a week, I was in dance class that often. And then to go from that to going to college where I wasn't a dance major, I took a dance minor. But as a dance minor, I could take one class a semester, which meant that I was going to a 1 hour dance class twice a week. And my parents had been kind of hippies, so I never had sugary cereals in my house. We ate a lot of organic food. We ate that we actually physically grew, and that was great. Except it was not when everybody else is having all this junk food and stuff like that, and you had no experience to it. And then you go to college, and they have a cereal bar, and I swear to you, it was just basically containers full of cereal, and you could just pour a dial and get whatever you wanted. And I developed a serious, serious friendship slash addiction with Lucky Charms cereal. I adored it. I loved it. It was like candy, which it is. It is freaking candy. It is not cereal, or it is not a breakfast. My childhood, I was pretty much puffed rice, and not even like Rice Krispie puffed rice. I'm talking like Popeye's generic puffed rice. So I just went nuts in college. I ate what I wanted to eat, and I had more friends. I had friends in high school, but I lived a long way from high school, and then I also had rehearsals and dance classes. So I lived a long way from anyone who I was, going to school with or going to rehearsal with. So I didn't get a chance to do much just hanging out with kids after I got into middle school and high school. So all of a sudden I was surrounded by people all the time. I had been a very good student, and I was still a good student, but it was just so social, and food was, anywhere I wanted it to be, and it was pizza whenever I wanted it to be pizza. And there was a place that delivered in a pizza box a giant cookie, a huge, huge cookie. So that was horrible for my weight. but wonderful as a social activity. I met my husband in college, and I gained the freshman 30, and then every year continued on to gain more and more weight. I had probably entered high school, or sorry, entered college at a size 14 and exited it at a 20. But I exited it with a adoring husband, or a man who would very soon become my husband. Um, I tried to lose weight for my wedding. I did lose some, but I was a size 20 bride. Um, my we were having a themed wedding, so my mom and I made my wedding dress, which was great because I would not have been able to buy what I wore, but I was big and I was unhappy that I was big. Um, it, was not what I wanted. It was not the wedding I dreamed of. I was still pretty active, being larger, but it just wasn't what I wanted. And I continued to dance. I found a troupe of larger dancers and that were really big in the fat acceptance movement, which I always was open to, but it always was more militant than I wanted to be. It's like, yes, I'm fat and I want you to accept me as I'm fat, but at the same time, I want to be able to lose weight and be okay with it. Um, so for a while, it didn't matter. My husband was okay with me being larger. I couldn't buy the clothes I wanted. I had trouble fitting in some seats, so I was not happy with that, but I was still mobile. I was dancing and I was doing other things. And then I got injured and it never healed. And I just, my world just kept getting smaller and smaller, and I didn't really notice that it was getting smaller until this past year. I can't walk long distances without a cane or a cart. If I walk more than a hallway, I have to sit down. And if I sit for a couple minutes and get up, but my knees just my right knee specifically, but my both knees just are painful. It got really, really bad. And I finally decided that I had to do something. I just couldn't be this way. And I had tried all kinds of diets, even though I said I was happy being heavy. I wasn't happy being heavy, but I would try a diet and it just wouldn't work. And it it would work for maybe a little while and then it would fall off. And part of it I know is my fault because I always think I can outsmart the diet, like I can figure it out, or this is working. Maybe if I tweak it this little bit, it'll work, and then it falls apart. So I know that this is something I can't change. And I had always been really afraid of weight loss surgery because, I hear a lot of people in the community that I was hanging out with were very against it. And I don't like the fact that I'm changing my body in such a permanent way, but it feels like what I need to do. And I had a friend who is also part of this community, and we had been friends for a long time. And she came out and she said, I know a lot of people have been worried about me because I've been losing weight and they thought I was sick. I'm not. I had weight loss surgery, and this is why I did it. And I contacted her and I asked her a lot of questions, and she was wonderful. I mean, she was fabulous. She just answered everything I needed to know, and it made this not something that I couldn't do. It made it something foreign and something that strangers did and something that went bad and that people died at, and made it something that could be possible. So I started doing research on my own and then entered the program at my local hospital, and I am pre-surgery and on my pre-surgery diet. And I will say now that my highest weight, because I stayed off the scale for years, so I'm assuming this is my highest weight, but who knows? Or my weight when I started this journey in mid-February, was 370 pounds. I have been on my um, pre-surgery diet, and I have to get down to my goal weight before they will schedule me for surgery, um, is the weight that I have to get down to is 330. And that's 330 on their scale, not my scale, which means I'll be wearing clothes instead of naked in my, I weigh naked, wow. But instead of naked in my room. So that means it's really more like 327, something like that. I'm not quite sure, but that is my guess. Right now, um, I have been working on, like I have been working on it for 3 weeks. I think it's about 3 weeks, and I am down from 370 to 352.5 this morning. Giving myself that 0.5 because you know, I'm happy about that. What's funny is I have an ARIA scale, but I haven't been able to use it, and I thought it was broken. And then I found out, no, you're just too heavy for it. So once I get below 350, that scale will actually work. So I'm like, okay, well, I first get to the ARIA scale and then lose another 10 pounds. Oh no, 20 pounds. When I went to the program has like an orientation that's a half a day, and I went and I took my husband with me. He was great and very supportive. He's been incredibly supportive. But going to that was a half a day, and that was long. And I had done a lot of research, but I was surprised how much different this program is than a lot of the stuff I read online. I don't have to do a mandatory 2-week liquid diet. They just want you to eat the way you're going to eat afterwards, which funny enough I had started to try to do beforehand, and had lost about 5 pounds before I even went to the orientation. And then I had my appointment with my surgeon fairly shortly after that, and she gave me the goal weight of 330, and I wanted to sob. I was crushed because I want to go. Like I'm the kind of person, I did a lot of research, and then once I got to that, I'm like, okay, let's go. Let me get all the appointments in. Let me do what I need to do. I still need to go for a evaluation with a psychiatrist, and then I think that I'm supposed to go to support meetings. I've already been to one. It's weird going to the support meetings pre-op because everybody else is talking about how much they've lost and what they've done, and I had lost some weight, but I didn't feel like I should say it because I hadn't lost it surgically, and I'm like, oh, I'm not. That doesn't count. Of course, it freaking counts. Of course, it counts. But I didn't say anything. So next time I go, which will be this Wednesday, I will definitely say something because I think that's important. Um, but yeah, I am really focused on this, and my problem with diets is I always sort of fizzle out. I get to a certain point, fizzle out, and that's like when my hope for this is that I can really focus, and I'm going to use kind of competitive. So I'm hoping that I can use my competitive nature to get me to that goal weight so that I can then get the surgery scheduled. And then once I have the surgery, I don't have to worry so much about fizzling out because it'll be a lot harder to do that. I know that I have to buckle down and do the program and work it and be physical and do activity, which I do love being active, and I am going to love being able to do stupid things like, recently it's gotten a little bit better. Like even losing the 15 pounds, the first 15 pounds has made it easier on my knee, and I've been able to go back into stores. But for the month or so before that, when I needed something from Target or I needed something from the store, I tried to be as specific as possible on the shopping list, and I had to send my husband in. And if he got the wrong thing, he got the wrong thing. But I couldn't, I mean, he's doing it for me, so thank you. But, it's one of those things that like, oh, that's not what I would have picked out, but okay. Probably also saved money because I tend to be a little bit of an impulse shopper, and I wasn't walking around, so I wasn't buying anything that wasn't impulsy. But so far I'm doing pretty good, and I'm going to continue, and I am really hoping that I can be helpful to somebody else, and I'm looking, if you have questions for me, let me know. If you have advice for me, please put it in the comments. I'm really, really looking forward to being a part of this community. And I feel like I've been lurking on the outside looking in for a while, and now it's really time to step forward and be a part. I don't know, I plan to do weekly videos once I have the surgery, but I don't know if I'll do weekly ones pre-surgery. That might be a little weird. I might not have that much to say, but we'll see. So thank you, and I hope you join me on my journey.